Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting under the hood of your credit score. We're not just talking general advice.
No, not at all. We want to give you the actual levers, the specific things you can do to actively, improve your score.
Exactly. We're moving past the basics into the technical blueprint.
Right. And our mission here is pretty straightforward. A quick but thorough deep dive into how scores are calculated. We're using the FICO framework as our guide here.
And pulling out the, 5 most actionable strategies from the source material we looked at?
Precisely. It's about understanding the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Like, where should you put your effort for the best results?
Yeah, and what's great about looking at this FICO breakdown is it's not guesswork. They give you the percentages, the weights. You see the map right away.
They break it down into 5 main parts. And, once you see those numbers, it's pretty clear where the focus needs to be.
So let's lay that out right now,
Yeah.
because that really sets the stage for everything else we'll talk about.
Absolutely. So the two big ones, the real heavy hitters. First, payment history. That's a massive 35% of your score.
35%, okay.
And second is what's called credit utilization. Basically, how much of your available credit you're actually using. That's another huge chunk, 30%.
Wow. Okay, so right there, that's 65%. Just two things, paying your bills and how much you owe relative to your limits.
That's it, 65%. It means you could be doing everything else perfectly, but if you slip up on these two, well, it's tough to build a great score.
You're just not going to move the needle much.
Exactly. So if you're, worrying intensely about having different types of loans, which is only 10%, you're kind of missing the forest for the trees.
That makes sense. Okay, so what are the others then, just quickly?
Sure. So after those big two, you've got length of credit history, that's 15%.
Mm-hmm.
Then types of credit, like we just mentioned, that's 10%.
Okay.
And finally, new credit, like applying for new cards, that's the last 10%.
Got it. Okay, so let's dive straight into that critical 65% then. The non-negotiables, let's call them.
Sounds good. So factor one, payment history. That huge 35%, this is really the bedrock. It's all about reliability.
And the source guide really emphasized that even small slip-ups here, they can hurt your score quite a bit, right? And fast.
Oh, definitely. And the thing is, a late payment isn't just a temporary blip. It's pretty unforgiving.
How so?
Well, that missed or late payment, it stays on your credit report, and it can drag down your score for up to 7 years.
7 years, wow.
Yeah, it tells lenders you might not be dependable, which is, the opposite of what they want to see.
So the main takeaway here is just pay on time. Always.
Always. At least the minimum payment by the due date. No excuses, really. That's the absolute baseline.
Okay, but, life happens. People forget. What's the practical defense?
Well, the sources really push using technology here.
Yeah.
Set up payment reminders on your phone, your calendar.
Automatic payments.
Or autopay. Even better.
Yeah.
But, and this is a big but, you have to make sure the money is actually in the account to cover it.
Right, because an overdraft is bad, but a bounced payment is probably worse for your credit.
Much worse. It can be a disaster. So vigilance is key, even with autopay. And the source also strongly recommends checking your actual credit report.
How often?
At least once a year. You can get it for free from the main bureaus.
Oh, okay, but if a late payment sticks around for 7 years, why? Look, isn't it just confirming the bad news?
It's not just about confirming, it's about accuracy. Errors happen. Maybe a payment was marked 60 days late when it was only 30.
Ah, I see.
Or maybe something's on there that isn't even yours. That annual check is your chance to spot mistakes and dispute them. You're basically fact-checking your financial reputation. Fixing errors can really boost that 35% chunk.
That makes a lot of sense. Protecting your record. Okay, let's move to the other big one then. The 30% for credit utilization. This feels more like active strategy, less about past mistakes.
It is. Utilization is about how much of your available credit limit you're using right now. It's a ratio.
Not just the total dollar amount you owe.
Exactly. It's the percentage.
Yeah.
So if you have, say, $10,000 in credit limits across all your cards and you owe $5,000 total, your utilization is 50%.
And lenders see high utilization as risky.
Very risky. If you're constantly near your limits, even if you pay it down later, it suggests you might be overextended, maybe closer to potentially defaulting.
And the guide gave a specific target number here, didn't it?
Yes, the magic number, or rather the ceiling you want to stay under, is 30%.
30%. So on that $10,000 limit example, you'd want to keep your balance below $3,000.
Ideally, yes, below $3,000. That 30% mark is a key threshold for good credit health.
Yeah.
But we can actually get more strategic than just that.
Okay, this is where it gets interesting, right? Manipulating that 30%.
Right. It's about understanding the reporting cycle. Most credit card companies report your balance to the credit bureaus once a month. And crucially, they usually report the balance that's on your statement when it closes, not necessarily the balance on the payment due date.
Ah, okay. So if my statement closes on the 15th, but the payment isn't due until the 1st of next month.
Exactly. If you charged up, say, $9,000 on a $10,000 limit card during the month, and your statement closes on the 15th, showing that $9,000 balance.
Then the credit bureaus see a 90% utilization for that card that month, even if I plan to pay it all off by the 1st.
Precisely. Even if you pay it in full by the due date, that high utilization number might already have been reported for that cycle.
So the pro move is to pay down the balance before the statement closing date.
That's the advanced strategy. Pay down as much as possible before the statement date. Ensure the balance that gets reported is low, well under that 30% target.
So even if I use the card a lot, I can make a payment mid-cycle.
Yes. Make a payment before the statement closes. Then the reported balance looks great. Since utilization is 30% of your score, doing this can have a really quick positive impact.
Okay, that's a fantastic tip. So paying on time and managing utilization are the big two. What about the others? These next ones seem more about long-term strategy.
Yeah, the remaining 35% is more strategic, less about immediate habits. Let's call it strategic account management.
Okay, so that starts with factor 3. Length of credit history, that's 15%.
Right. And this one, well, it just takes time. Lenders like to see a long track record, a longer history, and importantly, a higher average age of all your accounts generally means a better score.
And this is where that slightly counterintuitive advice comes in from the source guide about not closing old credit cards.
Yes. Never close your old cards, especially your oldest ones, even if you don't use them much anymore.
Why not? If you've paid it off, isn't it good to remove the temptation?
It seems logical, but it backfires. There are two main reasons. First, closing an old account lowers the average age of all your accounts.
Ah, okay. If my oldest card is 10 years old and my others are only 2, closing the old one makes my average age plummet.
Exactly. Which directly hurts this 15% part of your score. And second,
Let me guess. It connects back to utilization, that 30% factor.
you got it. Closing a card, even with a zero balance, instantly removes its credit limit from your total available credit.
Right. So if I had $20,000 total available credit and I close an old card with a $5,000 limit,
Now you only have $15,000 available credit. If you still owe the same amount on your other card, say $4,500,
my utilization ratio just jumped from 22.5%, $4.5K 20K, to 30%, $4.5K 15K, just by closing a card I wasn't using.
precisely. It's a common mistake. People think they're being responsible, but they inadvertently damage their score.
So the actionable advice is keep them open.
Keep those old accounts open and active. The source suggests putting a small recurring charge on them, like a Netflix subscription or a small utility bill.
And then set up auto pay for that small amount.
Exactly. Pay it off every month. This keeps the account active in the issuer's eyes, preventing them from closing it due to inactivity, which they might do after a year or so.
Okay, that's really smart. Strategic life support for old accounts. What's next in this strategic section?
Next up is new credit, which accounts for 10%. This is about how often you apply for and open new accounts.
And the basic idea is that opening too many accounts too quickly looks risky.
Yeah. FICO's research shows that people opening multiple accounts in a short time frame tend to be higher credit risks down the line.
We always hear about hard inquiries or hard checks when you apply, that they lower your score.
That's right. When you formally apply for credit, the lender does a hard pull on your report to see your full history. Each hard inquiry can cause a small, temporary dip in your score.
Why does the inquiry itself hurt?
FICO sees a lot of recent inquiries as a potential sign of financial distress, like you're scrambling for credit. So it causes a slight score drop. Plus, remember the average age of accounts.
Ah, right. A brand new account brings down the average age of all your accounts.
Exactly. So you get dings slightly for the inquiry itself and slightly for lowering your average account age.
So the obvious tip is don't apply for credit constantly. Be sparing.
Be sparing and be strategic about when. Definitely avoid applying for new credit right before you plan to apply for a major loan.
Like a mortgage or a car loan.
Yes, you want your score to be as high and stable as possible for those big applications. Don't risk that temporary dip from a new card inquiry right before applying for a mortgage.
Is new credit always bad? What if you have a really short credit history or your limits are very low?
That's the nuance. The source does point out that strategically adding a new account, if you manage it well, can actually help over time. Well, a new card increases your total available credit. If you get a new card with, say, a $5,000 limit and you barely use it, you've just increased your denominator in the utilization calculation.
Ah, so if you keep your spending the same, adding that available credit lowers your overall utilization ratio, helping that big 30% factor.
Exactly. So getting a new card isn't inherently bad, especially if your credit file is thin. Just use it minimally and responsibly. Open new accounts thoughtfully, not impulsively.
Okay, that covers 90% of the score. Payment history, utilization, credit age, new credit. What's the last 10%?
The final 10% is factor 5. Types of credit, sometimes called credit mix.
Credit mix. What does that mean?
It means lenders generally like to see that you can successfully manage different kinds of debt, not just credit cards.
So like a mix of revolving credit and installment loans.
Exactly. Revolving credit is like your credit cards, where the balance and payment can fluctuate. Installment loans are things with fixed payments over a set term, like a mortgage, an auto loan, or a student loan.
So having a mortgage or a car loan can actually help your score slightly beyond just paying it on time.
Yes, demonstrating you can handle both types responsibly contributes positively, but remember,
It's only 10%.
right, and the source material is really clear on this. Do not go out and get a loan you don't need just to improve your credit mix.
Yeah, taking on unnecessary debt and interest payments for a potential tiny score boost seems unwise.
Definitely not worth it. The risk outweighs the reward here. This factor is more about awareness than aggressive action.
So the actionable tip isn't get a car loan.
No, not at all. It's more like be aware of your current mix. And maybe if you genuinely need to borrow money anyway, consider how different loan types might affect your mix.
For example, if I needed, say, $5,000 for home repairs, and I was choosing between putting it on a credit card versus taking out a small personal installment loan.
And if the rates and terms were comparable, choosing the installment loan might slightly improve your credit mix if you currently only have credit cards. But that's a secondary consideration. The loan terms themselves are far more important.
Okay, that makes sense. It's an opportunistic tweak, not a primary strategy. So let's try to wrap this up. Let's summarize the main actions for listeners.
Absolutely. The absolute key takeaway, if you remember nothing else, is that 65% rule.
Payment history and credit utilization.
Focus almost all your energy there first. Pay everything on time, always, and keep your utilization ratio way below 30%. Get aggressive about paying balances down before the statement closes.
Doing just those two things gives you the biggest bang for your buck score-wise.
By far, it's the fastest and most sustainable way to build and maintain good credit.
And then for the longer term, that strategic patience. Don't close old accounts.
Keep them alive. Use them for a tiny recurring charge. Protect that account age. That 15% matters over time.
It really sounds like the secret is just consistency and responsible behavior, fundamentally.
It really is. If you're already paying bills on time and not maxing out your cards, you're doing the most important things right.
And maybe using some tools to help stay on track.
Yeah, consider signing up for a credit tracking service. Lots of banks and credit card companies offer free FICO score tracking now. It helps you see where you stand and catch any problems early.
Okay, great advice. So knowing all these percentages, especially that huge 65% tied to payments and utilization, it leaves us with a final thought, maybe a question for you to ponder.
Okay. What is it?
We talked about utilization being based on the reported balance, often from the statement closing date. So the provocative question is, how much could you really juice that 30% utilization factor in your favor, month to month, by strategically timing your payments? Not just paying by the due date, but paying way before the statement even cuts.
Gaming the reporting cycle itself. Thinking about managing that debt before anyone even generates the statement, that's definitely moving into optimization territory.
Something to think about. How to control the snapshot FICO actually sees. We'll leave you with that thought.